Just sat down to film and realized that my chair is squeaky and so is my other chair, so I'm going to go try to find an Allen wrench and fix that. BRB. Okay, fixed? Yes. Don't put up with a squeaky chair because that might mean that the chair is about to fall apart. In the case of the other one, this one I barely had to tighten just one screw, and then the other one, some of the screws are about to fall out of it. And luckily enough, they both took the same size of Allen wrench, so I'm keeping this up here in case they need it again. Now I think we can get started. So today is Tuesday. It is the 10th of January. For this video that you're seeing now, I'm not going to call it today's video because I decided to do a day in the life kind of video, but also one day it doesn't really cut it because I usually kind of only do like one or two big things in a day and it's not that interesting. So I'm going to do like a week in the life, almost a week, like 4 days I think. I have planned my schedule for the week, so we'll see how far I get and how far I can get before I have to edit this because I am about to go out of town next week. But I'll be back by the time you're seeing this. I just don't want to have to deal with making sure it's on time right as soon as I get back. So yay me for thinking ahead. So it's still dark outside. It's 6:30. Just kidding. It's 6:30 p.m. My husband is working today and he is on night shift now, so I will usually just kind of work at the same time he does. And this works way better for my brain's ass backwards sleep schedule because I cannot go to bed early and I cannot wake up early. It just does not work. I feel like absolute crap if I do try to fix my sleep schedule to be normal, like trying to work 9 to 5. I just feel awful during the day, no matter how much sleep I get. So if I'm awake, like kind of, sort of when the sun's still out, but then I start working in the winter, it's probably going to be dark very soon, but that's totally fine. So I got up and got my breakfast, waited for him to go to work, and then I got ready, did my makeup and everything. I feel more productive during the day when I do my makeup, and I don't like that. I wish I could just work usually and be fine without having to do it, but also I need to film some things today, so kind of works out sometimes, but I don't do makeup every single day. This entire video is not going to be like a talking head like this, I promise. I'm going to show some other things. I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm doing right now and then do like a voiceover later on. So as far as organizational things, a lot of people have asked about that because I have ADHD. I do take medication for my ADHD and I also drink coffee, so that helps a little bit extra. Since it is the beginning of a new year, I got a new planner. Last year, or the last 2 years, I made my own weekly planner in Canva, like with the dates already filled out. Like I physically went into a Canva thing and like copied and then changed the dates and had it printed at Staples. Staples or Office Depot, which I can't remember which one. They have a thing where you can have it printed and bound and everything, so I thought that was the best option because I didn't have to worry about putting it together. So this year I am trying the Staples ARC system. It's basically like the Happy Planner, but if you don't like the frou-frou-ness of the Happy Planner, which I do not, I despise the aesthetic of the Happy Planner, and 99% of the other planners out there that are like girly, you know, I like this one. I feel like this is basically the Happy Planner, but for men or people who don't care about aesthetic, like colors and stuff. This is not an ad for the ARC system, I'm just letting you know that this is an option. But basically it has these discs and you can add and remove pages as you need to. I did not buy their weekly planner things. I did make those on Canva, but I went through and wrote the dates instead of having to like do that. It was a lot faster to do this than to go on the computer and like change them all in Canva. I just left it blank and then filled it in pen, and it took me like maybe 10-20 minutes. Now this is the size that is a half letter sheet of paper, so I can get 2 pages out of 1 piece of copy paper, which saves a bit of money. The most expensive part was this thing that's like kind of scary because it pops open on me, but this is a special hole punch for this system. And of course the cover costs a bit up front also, but I can use it forever basically. I just made a blank template on Canva and then I printed it with like really light gray ink. This was a template that was already on Canva. I didn't design this myself because it takes a while. And I changed some things around to fit what I wanted and also to make sure that it fit on this half sheet with margin for the holes to be punched out. I also like that I basically had to make the boxes smaller to get a whole week on one page, and I have less room to write, which means I don't try to cram too many things into one day like I used to do, because my old layout was basically like a whole sheet of paper and I had pretty big boxes for each day, and I felt like subconsciously like I had to fill them up with a lot of things to do, ended up not finishing things and then getting frustrated. So like I can barely get maybe 5 or 6 tasks like physically written in each box, which is about the maximum that I can actually do in a day. Then since this is expandable and you can add things to it, I have like notebook paper in here that I can write stuff down. I have my personal sewing projects written down with like a list of things I actually want to do so I can remember. You may or may not have noticed my watch in the past couple videos. I am not a watch person, I am not a jewelry person, so this is like mildly annoying, but it also helps me solve a problem. I'm not like trying to flex that I have a smartwatch. I literally, this is, got it in like 2014 or 2015. So it's like 7 or 8 years old. And I thought I got rid of it. I thought it was long gone, but I was opening some boxes of stuff that I was planning to sell on Mercari. And this was in there and I was like, oh, because I was looking at getting like a Fitbit or something, because you know, when you take a powerful stimulant medication, you kind of want to keep an eye on your heart rate. So I was like, I need something to track that. So I found the watch and I was like, oh, that's cool. That saved me like a couple $100 buying a new watch or like a Fitbit or something. Even though it is old, it still syncs to my phone perfectly fine. I don't even really need it to sync to my phone, honestly, because the things I use it for, I just use the heart rate monitor and the timer app. I usually use a timer app on the computer if I'm doing a task on the computer, or one on my phone when I'm just kind of out and about in the room working on sewing or whatever else. And if I get distracted doing something, or if I'm sewing and can't hear it going off, if I don't have my headphones in where it's beeping, then I am not paying attention to what time it is or anything, and I could sit there for like another hour and keep sewing stuff and not realize what time it is. So the logical thing would have been for me to get a watch in the first place, but I do not keep track of what time it actually is. This does not compute in my brain for some reason. So using a timer and knowing, oh, okay, I set this timer for 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is, and that's over, so that's how long it's been. And I should reevaluate what I'm doing at this point, so I could stop what I'm doing now and start a new task, or if I need to stop what I'm doing and go eat, because I will forget otherwise. And it is supremely annoying to me because I am not a jewelry person. I have not worn like necklaces or bracelets or anything in years. I hate the way they feel. I hate like feeling them on me, and this is no exception. But it is a necessary evil because it keeps me on track better than my phone. In order to help with that, I downloaded a pretty cool watch face for this, because you can like customize the faces. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that or not, but it's like a steampunk kind of thing, and it's really cool. I like the battery meter at the top, but I paid $1 for that, so I don't typically pay for like apps and things, but I was like, why not, if it's going to encourage me to use it a little bit more. So the first thing I want to do is check my planner and see what I did or did not do yesterday that I forgot to mark off. So I was supposed to edit and schedule to upload the Reddit Q&A video. Did not do that. I also did not write the next 2 episodes. I did cut the cotton rounds that I needed to cut, so I'll mark that off. Now I need to do those other things today. I did not go to the post office today, so I'll write that down for tomorrow, because I did not get up and around until after 5 p.m. Post office closes at 5 p.m. I have a lot of catching up to do tomorrow because I missed doing some errands today. Yesterday, speaking of ADHD and getting like distracted, I went out by myself yesterday. I usually go out with my husband if I need to do things, because he is impatient and he keeps me on track and like doesn't let me spend too long, which sometimes I kind of get aggravated if he's like, hurry up. But yesterday it could have been helpful, because I went out at 4 to drop stuff off at the post office, needed to go to the ATM. So I did all that, and then I was like, I'll stop at this thrift store, I'll stop at that thrift store. Then I went to Sprouts and Target and Walmart because Target didn't have something I needed. I didn't get home until 10 p.m. Like, why those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places took 5 hours? 6 hours. I really don't know. So I'm glad I didn't schedule too much to do yesterday, because that would have been a disaster. I'll need to go out early tomorrow because One of the things I need to do is pay my occupational tax, and I'm pretty sure those kind of offices probably not open past 3 p.m. I'll be very surprised if they were. So I will go do that as early as I possibly can. I also need to go get a medical test thing done, so I do that at the same time because they close kind of early also. Okay, so today I've got to finish those things that I didn't do yesterday with the videos, and then I need to do my budget. I'll do that first, and then film the episodes that I didn't even write yet, and then I do need to do 4 to 5 hours of production with my business stuff because I have an order that I don't have the product made for, so I need to do that, and I'm just going to go ahead and restock a bunch of this similar items. And I have a big launch coming up this week that I have procrastinated for so long. I just need to do it, so I need to like make the products, take photos of, hopefully today, like take the photos Thursday, because I'm trying to, basically they're going to be a pre-order and I'm trying to get that done by Friday. And also this week we are trying to leave like Monday morning, so I still have so much stuff to do, like clean the house and get things wrapped up before I go, like get this room clean, and I was making myself some winter clothes because we moved to the south and I was like, it's not going to be that cold, but it has gotten that cold a few times, and then we're going back to visit family in the Midwest-ish, so it's going to be cold. What is that? I'm not touching anything. So I need to get started on something because I've been filming this for like half an hour. So it's 6:45. I'm gonna go ahead and do my budget because today's Tuesday and I got my deposits from Etsy and Shopify, so I need to allocate those, make sure that I have enough for things. I thought I was gonna have to shell out a lot of money for my quarterly taxes by the 16th, but my QuickBooks was wrong, so yeah, don't trust your QuickBooks self-employed. I'm thinking about switching to regular QuickBooks, but I don't know. At this point, I don't have the capacity for that. Maybe when I get back from this trip, I will think about that. Also, I just have to say this and get it off my chest, but like taxes are so incredibly inaccessible. It is ridiculous. Like I went through, and why I figured out my QuickBooks was I don't say flat out wrong, but it was inaccurate as far as how much I owed for my quarterly taxes. But I went through and filled out the 1040 ES to like the form that shows you how much you pay in quarterly taxes and if you should or should not even pay them depending on how much you make. That was insane. The amount of like back and forth, you have to read this and you have to know this and you have to add this and this, but if you have these certain deductions, and it was horrifying. Like I can't imagine, these companies that do your taxes for you are highly taking advantage of you, that's for sure, because this is inaccessible to the vast majority of people to do your own taxes, like fill out the forms yourself. Like I have college degrees, I run a business, and I have had my IQ tested because I am autistic and I do not have a low IQ, and I still that was hard. Like I am angry. All right, let's start with the budget for the week. I'm going to hand this off to voiceover Abby. First things first, I will turn my computer on and set a timer so that I stay on track. It usually takes me less than 30 minutes to do my budget, but if I don't set a timer, I will be there for hours. I use the app YNAB, where you need a budget, for my personal finances, and I find it easy to just create like a separate budget for my business, and that way everything is in the same app, and I save a little bit by having, just one software to do everything. Once a week might be too much for some people, but that's just how often I have Etsy and Shopify deposit my payments, and it helps me stay on track and not let a whole month go by where I am not paying attention to what I'm spending. Next, I'm going to pack some orders. I have some from Mercari for like personal things that I'm trying to sell, and also from my shop. So I'll go into ShipStation and do the print pick list option, and that'll give me a list of everything I need for all the orders on Etsy and Shopify. That way I don't have to go back and forth or print all of the packing slips and then count the items that way. Now I'm assembling the reusable cotton rounds that I need to make today. So this first one is one I had an order for that I did not have the thing in stock. I was so mad because I think that was only one item that I didn't have out of all the things that were ordered. And I really wish there was an easier way to do this. Like if I could somehow cut these pieces with the front and back together already, so I didn't have to match them up, because sometimes they don't match up perfectly and I have to cut off the excess, as you can see in that little pile there. It's just not practical to unfold the fabric, roll it out, smooth it out, make sure that both line up perfectly. So this is the best I got. You just got to work with what you have. That took several hours to match all of those up. Now I'm going to clean the dust off, suit up, get my apron on so my pants aren't covered in fuzz, and I turn on my air purifier back there so that way I'm not breathing in all of that dust. I usually wear just a homemade mask when I do this, but I decided not to because I have a makeup on. I need to film more stuff this day, so being vain, I suppose, might have caused some damage to my lungs, but the air purifier does help quite a bit. It keeps a lot of it off of the surfaces of my office, at least, so it should keep some out of my lungs. But I don't make a habit of doing this. I normally don't sew and film things in the same day, so I'm not usually wearing makeup when I do this, so that I can wear a mask, because brown lung is no joke. I took a break and got back to it, so I realized that there was a bit too much for me to do that day, and I didn't really need every single one of these all at once. So I just kind of counted out a few of each so that way I could restock just a couple to have on hand instead of all of those. I'm okay with that because at least if I do end up needing these, which I probably will, they're going to be pretty easy to just sew and finish off instead of having to cut and match them up again. If you're familiar with my videos, you're probably wondering why I'm not using the industrial machine right now. This is my domestic sewing machine. I usually refer to it as my home machine, but domestic is the better term. It's basically a low-end serger that, you know, it's a couple $100 anybody can get. I don't use my industrial machine for these small ones because it is so difficult to make them, and I might run over my finger because I'm pretty sure, actually I know for sure, that the industrial one will take my finger off if I am not careful. This one will probably hurt, but it won't dismember me, so I'm going to stick with this one until I can figure out how in the heck to make these tiny things on the industrial one. But this is not a permanent place for that machine. It is a little bit too high up, but it's also too low down for me to stand and do things at. So I'm working on making it taller very soon, but for now it's just, I've got to use that machine there. It's really the only place I have to do it. Taking a break from sewing for a little bit to work on editing a video. I use this program called Filmora. It's pretty uncommon, I think. Most people use Premiere Pro or iMovie if you have a Mac. Programs like from Adobe are very expensive, and now I think you have to pay monthly for them instead of buying a one-time license, which is, yeah, I don't want to do that, so I'm getting every penny out of this one. At this point, I don't need anything super advanced, like, you know, cinematic. It does a little bit more stuff than I think I make it do, but for me, just cutting out my awkward pauses and, you know, inserting some photos every now and then, doing some text, it's fine. So I use it for all of my YouTube videos and some Instagram and TikTok videos. It's just easier to do this on a computer on a larger screen instead of trying to edit on your phone. I do have an app on my phone called InShot that I edit things on, but it is a little bit more difficult to get clips cut exactly right just because the screen's so small. It also makes it really easy to repurpose some footage I have for this channel and use that for my business Instagram and TikTok. I can just crop them to 9:16 and then add a voiceover and boom, I've got a video. Now back to finishing these cotton rounds. So I'm going to finish off the threads and then package them up. I make my own tags for things and just tie them with string. It's a pretty cheap option. I can get a lot of tags out of one piece of paper. I've had some hairy situations before with not being able to print things like these tags or packing slips or anything because my printer was a piece of junk. I think I got it for like 20 bucks one year on Black Friday, and it was the cartridge style. Now I have the Epson Eco Tank. Literally just refill it with bottles of ink, and it is amazing. I've printed thousands of pages with it at this point. A little bit of color just because my logo is on some stuff, but the color looks like it hasn't even been touched, and the black ink almost needs to be refilled. It's about less than halfway. Heading over to the storage room to put these cotton round bundles away. And this is definitely the most tidy room in our house because there's not really room to make it messy except for that little pile of boxes, but those are easily movable. I just really like seeing all of the colors in here. Well, you can't see them right now, but all of the colors of things stacked up together. It would be nice to have it all filled someday. Maybe before this busy season, I will try to fill it up, but for now, it's a little bit empty. I was just thinking about this earlier today, like how do you know how much to stock up on for your busy season? Because my busy season is in the spring and summer, whereas typically for other people, it's going to be around the holidays. A unique problem that I have, maybe somebody else I'm sure has this problem as well, but my products are made with flannel, and you might have this problem, I guess, if you use fleece, but since my busy season is in the summer, you can't get this stuff in the summer because it's hot. Nobody wants it except for me. So I guess the time to stock up would be now, but then I don't have that many sales right now. So it is now 3:30 a.m. and I feel like I haven't gotten that much stuff done. I think I started like 8 hours ago. That includes an hour for lunch, and from what I have done, I don't know where the other 7 hours went, and this is my constant issue. See, I'm not sure if it's that I am inefficient at doing things, or if it's I just forget what I have done. It's probably a mixture of both, because I forgot that I edited and posted tomorrow's/today's video, the Reddit questions video. That took 2 hours, and then I did my budget and stuff, and that was like half an hour or so, and then I did 3.5, I think 4 hours of sewing and working on things. I did not finish all of those cotton rounds because I just didn't have time, and it was not really a priority, so I'm going to put those aside for later. But I got the ones done I needed for the orders, and a few more of those that are pretty good sellers. Since I am like 2 days behind on some of these things, I'm probably going to have to redo my schedule for the rest of the week to fit those back in and kind of be more realistic going forward, because some things are taking longer than I expected, and it is technically Wednesday morning, but I'm calling it Tuesday. My husband gets really strict about this. He's like, no, as soon as it turns midnight, it's the next day. I'm like, no, it's not tomorrow until I've gone to sleep. I don't have time to do much more tonight, even though it is 3:30, and I still have like an hour and a half, maybe 2. So I'll probably go ahead and try to write at least the next video, and then if I get to the one after that, then I will do that, but I'm not holding my breath. And I did not even get to think about getting the pre-order products made. I forgot my plan for like what thread to use randomly, and I was like, oh no, I can't even do these because I don't have the right thread, but I do, so I don't know what I was thinking. So to get all this done, I'll probably be working up until Sunday, and then we leave on Monday. So that's gonna be great. I told my husband, like, on your off days this week, probably not going to be able to do anything because I've got stuff to do so we can take off. It's Wednesday and I forgot my watch, so it is 9:15 p.m. Last night all I did was write like not even half of an episode. Like I might have written part of the intro, but it might not sound good once I go read it back. I managed to get up early enough to get my stuff done by like 4:50 today. So I got my medical thing taken care of, went to the post office to drop off orders, and then I got my occupational license paid for the year, so that is up to date. And I think the best thing for me to do going forward is to not do the pre-order yet. I was planning on trying to hurry up and get it done before we leave, but once I post the announcements and stuff for that the pre-order is live, I am not trying to work while I'm gone, so I'm gonna be like answering questions about it and then trying to like post more things on social media, and I just don't want to deal with that while I'm gone, so I'm going to push that back until we return. I basically still need to write, edit, and schedule 5 more videos between now and Sunday. I guess technically 4 because that's including this one, so I don't have to really write for that. Okay, so new schedule. Today I am going to write everything. Hopefully, like at least do a rough outline. Some videos I completely script and then just add things in if I realize I've forgotten something as I'm reading it. But sometimes if I don't have time to sit and write, I will just make an outline and then kind of make it up as I go along. I still have those cotton rounds sitting there unfinished from yesterday, so I'm going to start writing, and then if I get bored or like get stuck, I will work on those for a little bit. I do enjoy the writing process, and I'm honestly not sure why I've been procrastinating getting my blog up and running, because I kind of like writing more than I do like filming and editing and stuff like that. I know that at least a good portion of my audience has ADHD also, So let me know if you were also in the camp of like reading books a lot as a kid or writing stories, but now as an adult you don't because like it's not really stimulating enough. My favorite subject in school as a kid was English, like literature, language arts, even in high school really. So this nonfiction writing where I have to read it out loud as an autistic person who doesn't always like talking, it's a little bit ironic. So at this point in the video, I started hearing a commotion downstairs and I was like, what is my husband doing? And then he comes to my office with something. If you are just listening to this and not watching, I now have a margarita on my desk. So the earlier commotion was him locating and subsequently using the blender to make a frozen drink. Why he did this, I do not know. As you could probably tell from that last clip, I didn't get much else done yesterday after that. It helped for a little bit though, not gonna lie. Don't recommend it long term though because my writing started getting like progressively, I don't know how to explain it, a little bit sassy. So I finished writing episode 4 of this series, of the How to Start an Etsy Shop series, and then I got like halfway through episode 5 writing, so if you watched that, because this is going to come out after episode 6, I was writing about the first half of that after some adult juice. Today is Thursday. I have thought it is Wednesday for the entire day, even though yesterday was Wednesday, which means I now have like 3.5 days before we leave and still quite a bit to do. Although I think I should be good on getting all these episodes filmed and uploaded. That's really my main priority. And getting some things like personal sewing projects done. I wanted to start like a new channel for this, but I'm just really not sure. So I might include some of it in here, like just a time-lapse portion, because nothing I'm making right now is like super historical. I feel like I've talked about this in my New Year's video, but I could be wrong. I really don't remember what I post half of the time, to be honest. I mean, I know what topics I've talked about, but I don't know, because that is because a lot of the time I talk for way longer than I end up posting. I cut out a lot of like tangents and rants and things. So my typical video like recording will be about an hour, maybe more, but then by the time I get to posting it, it'll be like 20 minutes, maybe 15. It is now about 9:30 p.m. and today my husband was off, so we got up and what did we do? Oh yeah, he needed a haircut. That's where we went first. And then I browsed around the dollar store. So I'm trying to redecorate my office next door and also decorate this one because I have some things to put up. Like this is the most decoration. This curtain that I made out of scrap fabric, and then I just attached it to like a really cheap quote-unquote blackout curtain that I got from Amazon. And during the summer I have a fan, like a window fan right here, because this is upstairs and I'm like really need to exhaust because this room gets very hot. So I have this loop here, and when I have that fan, I had these claw clip thingies. Can you see? Probably not. Hello. This clip, I don't know, just any kind of like clip really, but I got these to make like dog treat bags, but I never got around to making those. I don't have a dog, so I put these on and it just clips like underneath. You know, you can't see what I'm doing. Pro YouTuber. So this will go underneath and then clip here, kind of like just a roll up shade. I probably could have put a dowel rod in here to make it easier, but I just roll it. So basically roll it up to here so that the fan can be blowing, but also the sun is not coming in here. If you're trying to look at curtains, honestly, the cheapest option is to buy an ugly or just plain blackout curtain like on Amazon or something, and then get a nicer curtain or like a fabric to put over top of it. That's what I'm going to do in the other room. It has one window the same size as this one. So I have a second one of these curtains. It was just like a plain white one. And then I'm going to not do a patchwork like this, I think, but I have some fabric. I'm trying to do like a Victorian kind of theme in there as much as I can with my modern shelving and stuff that I have. But like I have my treadle sewing machine and stuff set up over there, so I need to get that working first of all. And I want to make the curtain with that machine. I think that would be a good test or like practice because it's literally just straight lines. The treadle sewing machine is a manual sewing machine, so it's not electric. And it's got this big foot plate, like the whole bottom of it is cast iron, and this foot plate that you kind of like go back and forth, and it sews. That'll be interesting because I am now used to using industrial sewing machines that can go up to like 10,000 stitches per minute, and I think a treadle probably maxes out at like, I don't know, if I had to guess, I would say like 100. I do want to know though. Okay, so for a similar model to mine, I found another nerd on a forum that measured, counted. They said the maximum is about 1,000 stitches per minute, and you should not do that for very long. So it's going to be slow going. I'm still playing around with the layout of that room because I kind of want it to be like this one. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put my computer desk and stuff in there because like the desk I'm using right now is so small. It's literally a child's desk from IKEA, and I've had it since I was a child. And I have outgrown it. Like my monitor, like my computer monitor is about 2/3, maybe more, like 3/4 as long as the desk. And it's a little cramped, and I feel like I have to be up close to it, so that's not good. I have a table downstairs that my mom actually built, so I'm going to, with the help of my husband, because it's very heavy, move it upstairs and either replace this desk and get rid of this desk or put it in there. Not sure yet. That's really not a priority right now. I'll worry about that when we get back. But while I was saying I went to the dollar store, I was looking for like storage container things, and some of them I'm just like, that's gonna break. I don't want to buy, I just don't want to pay less money for things up front that I know are gonna break. I would rather buy something that's like a little bit more expensive, if you want to call that more expensive, but better, that it's not gonna break. I did find some really cute peel and stick, like contact paper kind of stuff, although it was only $1.25, so it was not actual contact brand paper, but it was a very nice print, so I might use that on my shelves in here, because I have looked at like covering entire walls with peel and stick wallpaper, but it's so expensive if you're not doing just something really small. If you buy multiple of them, even the ones on Amazon that are pretty cheap, like per roll, you need a lot even to cover like a whole wall. I'm reconsidering my placement of furniture and stuff in the next room because of this guy on YouTube. If you watch shorts, you might have seen him because some of his videos were like really popular. But I think his username is Dear Modern or something, but he's basically like a feng shui expert. People will show their rooms or their houses or whatever, and he will like draw a layout and like tell them how they should rearrange things based on like the design and feng shui and everything. And I've always like had that in the back of my head, like the things he says as to why you should or shouldn't put certain things in certain places. It makes a lot of sense to me, so I'm going to just try to think about that. Because I really like my desk being right here because I can see, I can turn this way and see out the door, even though you're not really supposed to be like straight across from the door. So probably better like here or something really, but I think this is the best that I've got right now. I don't know. But you can also see out the window. And this is called like the command position. He was, a video that I saw today, he was talking about like if you are in the command position, you can see out the door or see the door if it opens and somebody's coming to kill you, or you can see out the window to see if somebody's trying to shoot you from outside. I was like, that's the kind of stuff I think about. I also need to pay my P.O. box, so I'll probably do that like right now because it's coming up for renewal, and they were like, okay, well it's due, like you need to pay it by the 31st or something, I don't remember what day it was, but if you pay by the end of this week, we won't raise the prices on you. I was like, that's rude. So we went to the dollar store and I got that sticky paper stuff. And then we went to the Asian store, or the Asian market, where I got some presents to bring back for family because I don't know what to get people and we weren't there for Christmas. And I didn't want to spend like a whole bunch of money, so I spent like not even $10 per person getting them like snacks that they would like from our local Asian markets. Because there's not one near where my family lives. There used to be one, but they closed, unfortunately. Another thing that I'm doing today before I get started finishing writing the script and filming the next 2 videos is doing my OKRs. So a long time ago in a vlog, I mentioned working with somebody on a startup, and this was kind of sort of part of it. But basically, the contact that I made was extremely helpful and wanted to help small business owners stay on track and avoid getting burnt out, which that's me. So she introduced me to and kind of helped to guide me through this system called OKRs, or Objectives and Key Results. So this was not part of the startup, and she did give me permission to share this with you if I chose to in the future. So I will talk about it for just a second, but I might make an entire video about it. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I will. But this is just like a system. Like, I'm not selling you anything. It's not like a program or an app. I just am basically just trying to get you to think about, like, each quarter you'll have a goal and then like ways to reach that goal, and then you can track your progress. I usually update mine on Mondays, and I did not do that this week because I just started it because it's a new year. One of the things I'm working on is to create a work schedule for each week. So previously I had kind of been going day by day, and that really wasn't working because I was not looking at the big picture of all the things I needed to do and breaking them down into small things that I could do each day. But I was like, oh, this big project has to be done. I don't even want to touch it because I'm not going to be able to get it done today, but I need to like break it down into small parts. So I'm starting to create a list of things I need to do like each week, or things that maybe need to be done by a certain date, and then writing those in my planner and then allocating smaller tasks to each day. I'm also setting aside like an hour a week, maybe like Wednesday or Thursday to, well, really Thursday because my week starts on Monday. Just basically spending an hour or so to regroup and organize. Like, hey, if I am falling behind, I can redo the schedule for the rest of the week and fit everything in. And then organize physically, like clean up my space, you know. Another thing I've struggled with that I am doing better about now, hopefully you can notice that, I am trying to get social media posts done and ready to go a week in advance. That way I don't fall behind, or if I like don't feel like it, or maybe I wake up late one day like usually happens, then I won't be either scrambling to upload it and might finish by like 9 p.m. when my goal time is 5 p.m. or I just don't post that day at all. And that affects my actual business as well because social media is advertising. But this is like your overall goals, like for your life really, and not just for your business or for like personal things, but it kind of can include all of them. And it's not things that you would have to do regularly, right? So I'm not going to include things like packing orders or stuff like that. Let me know if you want to see a dedicated video about this, and I can show you how to like set up a spreadsheet to track it and everything. So I'm going to fill mine out for this past week and then finish writing episode 5, get 4 and 5 filmed, and then see where we get to if that doesn't take too long. All right, just finished filming episodes 4 and 5. So now basically all I have to do is write and film 6 and 7 and then edit and upload those. I'm not going to film any more tonight though because I've talked too long, my voice is going, so I'll do that tomorrow. I will edit and schedule at least one tonight though, hopefully after I eat something. Oh, I didn't pay my P.O. box. I said I was going to do that. Dang it. Let me do that right now. People that like spam message you wanting to promote your business or like your Instagram and stuff, just don't quit. Like this one person was like, oh, I'm a big fan of your channel. It didn't even like address me by name, but they linked my TikTok. And they said they have like an e-commerce tool for Shopify and they have a crazy proposal. And then I never responded. And they have messaged me like every 3 or 4 days. And then this last one, they said, can I please get a response? Like, I've deleted all the other ones. I'm clearly not interested. Yeah, that's not a way to sell your stuff, like a random email, unsolicited. Like, it's fine to get emails, don't get me wrong, because I found like companies and businesses to work with this way, but if you send me like a mass email, don't even address me by name or refer to like what I do or anything like that, I'm not gonna answer it. Okay, something to throw in this video while I'm doing this: if you have an Etsy or thinking about starting one or another e-commerce kind of situation where your return address would be visible on things, please, 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 I know it is like an extra cost, but for your safety, get a P.O. box or like a UPS store box or something. So I have heard of this happening in the past to other people. If a customer has a problem with their Etsy order, they don't realize that it's a person's like private residence, so they will go to the return address on the label if it's, you know, driving distance. But somebody I follow that is obviously also a small business owner was being harassed with racial slurs and basically threats, and this person, she obviously blocked them on social media and everything, but they found her Shopify or her website or whatever and ordered something, and she didn't know who this person was because she didn't know their name because it was on TikTok, and the person received their order and then messaged or like emailed her somewhere that used the same racial slurs and was like, oh good, now I know where you live. And she was like, well, thank goodness my return address is a UPS store because they have my address. And thankfully the person was not smart enough to not put their own address, so she has their full name and address to give to the police. So just be extra careful, like any little thing like that you can do to protect yourself and your family and your house and everything, because you never know. Some people just, I don't know. And if you know who that was, I don't know if they're comfortable. Like, I think she's posted about it on TikTok again, but because they have a pretty large following, so I want to be sensitive, you know, like don't be like, oh, that was so-and-so, if you know who it is. The first thing I did on Friday was go ahead and put my shops basically to an extended processing time. So on Etsy, I just extended it to 2 to 3 weeks. We're planning on being gone for about a week and a half, but we ended up only being gone for about a week. So it ended up working out. And then on Shopify, I just updated my banner at the top to say that I'd be on vacation and orders placed between such and such date would begin shipping on whatever date I expected to return. And then I'm going to pack up and ship the orders that I have open. So I got a few overnight after Thursday. And I have some orders from Mercari as well that I needed to pack up. I really hate on Mercari that you can't print labels for a label printer. They only give them to you for like an actual 8.5 by 11 regular paper. So you have to crop and finesse them to fit on a label printer. Despite my best efforts, every time I am about to go on vacation or something like that, I end up doing way too much beforehand, and usually it's the wrong things. So I did finish off these cotton rounds, the ones I had started sewing at least. And then in a second, I'm going to be sewing some non-paper towels. But I really didn't need to do that, and I have been back for a little while now, and I still have not gotten to listing the things that I've made or like restocking them, so it was kind of sort of a waste. I could have done better things. It's hard to know sometimes if you're doing the wrong thing, and this is one of those times I should have known because I was just running out of things. I ran out of these tags, and I had to print and cut some more. So I should have just stopped there while I was ahead. And I think that's part of the reason I came back not really rejuvenated or rested at all. I was still kind of burned out from trying to get all this stuff done and then immediately having to leave and just go constantly while we were visiting family. I also did not wear a mask this time, but I was not wearing makeup either, so I don't know why I didn't wear one. But I definitely should have because I had to open up the machine and clean it out, and there is a lot of dust inside of the machine, and I have to clean it out every now and then. I try to whenever the thread breaks or I run out of one of the spools of thread. I just noticed the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can see my mask laying there, so I don't have an excuse. I don't know why I didn't put it on. Anyways, some good news. We found a Micro Center. I did not know there was one in Cincinnati, but apparently there is. We've only been to the one in Atlanta. But it's basically a Best Buy kind of thing, but they only have computer parts and accessories. And they had tripods, surprisingly, so I found a 6-foot tripod, which I have been looking for a while, so now I'm going to be able to get better shots. This one is not terrible, but I can definitely do more things with a very tall tripod versus my very short one. I think this is why more people don't daily vlog, because it's more time consuming than it seems to set up the camera. So that's kind of why I've been leaving the camera here sometimes. Like I filmed 2 videos with it right here, and I've never used this backdrop before. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, which is not super late for me because I usually, well, for the past few weeks, I've been going to bed at about 5:30 or 6 maybe. Sometimes I wait for my husband to get home, sometimes I don't. I do need to get up early because it technically now is Saturday, and I need to be at the post office before noon and to UPS. Rushing to get my orders to the post office today before 5. I woke up at a fairly decent time. I should have had enough time to get there, but I had 4 orders from Mercari. I've been trying to sell like some personal stuff that's been sitting in a box like since I moved. Like I literally moved here and I had a box labeled stuff to put on Mercari because like I wanted to get rid of it, but it was still like kind of valuable-ish. So I've been kind of slowly putting it on Mercari, and I was really hurrying like the past couple weeks because I knew we were taking this trip, and I also thought that I was gonna have to pay more in taxes than I do, so I was like, oh shoot, I need to get this stuff sold. And I sold a fair amount, not all of it. As you saw earlier, I put it on vacation mode, which Mercari has now, which is pretty cool. I got a few orders that came in like yesterday, and I need to get those out before we leave, obviously, but I was not thinking, like, I guess I didn't prepare ahead of time to have boxes and stuff, because like one of the things I sold was a pair of boots, and I did not have a box that was really big enough for them. And my husband just bought a new pair of tennis shoes, and like his tennis shoe box is big enough for my boots, so I thought it would fit in like this poly mailer I had. Did not fit. I had to like tape it together and then use that brown wrapping paper, and that took way longer than it probably should have. But I didn't even think about it because that is going through UPS and the other stuff is going through USPS. I could have just stopped and then went to the post office and then took that to UPS tomorrow, but whatever. Oh, I'm very tired. I looked up and the timer on my camera said 6:00 and I thought it said 0:00, so I was like, oh my god, I haven't been recording. Yeah, it's time for a break. But I got one order that came in after I extended my processing time, so I'm gonna go ahead and pack that up because I have the stuff in stock and I can just take it tomorrow so they don't have to wait a whole week and a half. It never fails. Somebody always orders like within an hour or two after I put my shop, like extend the processing times or put an announcement that says I'm gonna be out of town and not able to ship. So I hope this was somewhat interesting. I'm probably going to end it today. I'm not gonna film anything tomorrow. I need to just get the rest of the videos for Type 9 Studio scheduled. I think I've just got one more to film and then I gotta edit like 3. So at the beginning of the video, I'm pretty sure I talked about my new planner and how the boxes were smaller, and I thought that would help me to not over schedule myself, but I still did that pretty hard this week, so I ended up not even doing like half of the things that I thought I was going to be able to, and I don't know why. I have more time to work now that my husband is working night shift because I'm not like stopping in the middle. I can just go to work when he does and have like basically 12 and a half hours uninterrupted. So I appreciate all the comments asking me how I, as a person with ADHD, stay organized, and I don't. So I kind of like that you assume that I do, at least. I got an email today from a Veg Fest coordinator that I was supposed to do this past year but had to cancel because we moved, and I am considering it. It's gonna be in July, but it's in Kentucky and I am in Georgia. So with the booth fee and the cost for gas, because apparently they had a massive turnout in 2022, so I'm like, And it's indoors. Also, I have not ever done a craft show or event or anything that's indoors, so that'll be awesome. When we go visit family, there are some antique stores, antique malls that we really, really like, especially up in Ohio. So I'm gonna look for some decorations and things for my office. So hopefully I'll have some more things to put in the other room, because it was very weird. Like, we've been here for a year, this is our house, you know, but like last time we went home to visit people, none of our family members rent, so they all have like their houses just kind of decorated like how we remember them, and it's really obvious and like kind of sad almost. I don't know if that's the best word to explain it, but like our walls are blank and like this beige. And I was looking at my YouTube analytics. Everybody is loving the newest video, or at least it seems like it's more interesting. Like, it's my top 10 of the last 10 videos, or like my top number 1 of the last 10 videos that I have posted. It was the answering Reddit questions. Like, it's doing way better than my how to start an Etsy shop in 2023 intro video. It's always the videos or the posts that you do on social media that you didn't put much effort into that take off, but like if you spend hours and hours on something, it gets like 2 views, you know? Because I did not script, I did not even pick questions for that until like I sat down. I think I didn't even come up with the idea until I filmed the previous video to that. And I was like, I'll just do a video. I need a filler episode. I'll just answer some questions from Reddit. Okay, I mean, it's only at like 300 and some views right now, which is not like a ton, but still, I'm like, can't believe that it's doing better than everything else. So I should stop recording now and get to doing the other things I need to do before we go on vacation, you know, like around the house and packing and all that stuff as well. So if you want to see more vlogs, I have a playlist of them. I'll link that in the description box. But that is all for me today. I will see you in the next one. Bye.